Hi, everybody. So this is your bonus session on Karuna, which means compassion. And it's funny because this is such an important concept in my life. And when I was introduced to the Karuna Reiki symbols, which is what I'm going to be talking to you about in this video, I really felt them more than I even saw them. I think when you start working with these symbols, it will take your practice to a deeper level, whether you are a Reiki practitioner or not. The person who developed the Karuna Reiki system, William Lee Rand, actually developed it himself. He channeled the symbols and the teachings and also gathered the symbols and the teachings from other Reiki practitioners. And he was teaching it primarily to Usui Reiki masters, people who'd come up through the traditional methods and training and attunements of the traditional system. So I give that to you just as a little bit of background. So I think those of you who are familiar with traditional Reiki practices and symbols will find this easier to integrate, but those of you who aren't, I still think there's magic in the symbols and in the concept for you. Reiki is a very powerful way of working with energy. I know a lot of you are attuned at different levels, as am I, and I find that, really harnessing this concept of life force energy and recognizing our ability to channel it and direct it, and integrating symbols into your practice, which is so ancient. I mean, in many ways, our ancient ancestors were a highly symbolic culture or cultures. And symbols were of great importance. And it's funny because a lot of us, as we come back and really start to deepen our magical practice and explore some of these ancient practices and traditions, when we see symbols, sometimes we feel so connected to them because they're so familiar. And I think that's when we start to realize that we come from a lineage of decoders of symbols. And so you may not know a symbol in the sense that you may not have seen it before in this lifetime, but then there's still a sense, something in you looks at it and says, that's familiar to me. And so I think it will be the case with some of the symbols we're going to talk about today. I also want to mention there's Karuna perfume and Karuna ritual powder in the shop, only by way of just telling you about these two products because it's easy for things to pass you by. There's always so much happening at sagegoddess.com, and I don't repeat things a lot. I don't like to come back and say, hey, did you know there was a Karuna this, or did you know there was that? But at the same time, I want you to know that these things exist because the Karuna ritual powder in particular is made with a sandalwood base, but it has nag champa and rose and other ingredients in it. It's handmade here at SG. We ground the resin powders and the flowers together ourselves. And so this is what it looks like. But because it has a sandalwood base, you can actually use it as deodorant. So there's different ways of using it. This is technically a mala. It's a beaded mala, but you can put a little bit on the fringe of your mala is one way to work with your ritual powders. Just a little bit to sort of scent the beads or to scent if your tassel is made of thread, then that's even a little bit easier. You can anoint with it just like you do with perfumes, like I just did on my wrist and a little bit on my third eye and a little bit of my ankles. It is perfume. And in fact, this type of perfume, powdered resins would have been much more available and accessible to our ancestors than essential oils, which required distillation processes that are relatively modern and very difficult and expensive. And so in any case, when you use the ritual powders, it's connecting with perfume in a different way that's even more ancient than some of the traditions that we follow today. And there's the corresponding perfume in the shop as well. One of my favorite songs is by a group called Rasa. If you're not familiar with Rasa, please do yourself a favor and go to Pandora or go to iTunes Store and explore. They have a song called Parama Karuna. Parama means the highest or the most supreme, and Karuna means compassion. And so it is this incredibly beautiful sacred song all about reaching a new height or a new intensity of compassion in your sacred practice. And what's interesting to me about compassion, just to give you a little context, every spiritual and religious tradition talks about compassion and teaches compassion and preaches compassion in the sense of compassion is a quality or a characteristic or an experience that we are meant to embody. I also think it's one of the hardest for people to strive for, to actually step into, because it's really hard to hold space and compassion for other people sometimes, especially if you don't know those people, especially if those people have hurt you, especially, and even sometimes in your own family, it's hard to hold compassionate space. But the number one thing I have learned is it's almost like magic doesn't work if you don't have compassion in your heart. It's almost like the key that unlocks the door to it all. And I have found, especially in my 40s, because I find that this for me is the generation of, or the decade of compassion. I think I had compassion in my 20s and in my 30s, but I think the 20s and 30s really, at least for me, were this period of trying to figure out who I was and thinking I knew a little bit more than I did, maybe. And so the level of humility and compassion and the sense of humor that I bring to this fourth decade of my life, I think in many ways this is my decade of Karuna. This is my decade of realizing how much I still have to learn, how much people around me are going through. The whole idea of compassion is that I look at you, or I listen to you, or I work with you, and instead of judging you or making assumptions about you, I try to get to know you better. And I try to understand where you're coming from and what your life experience has been, so that I can understand your thoughts, feelings, and reactions from a place of true knowing, right? So not my own projection onto you of who I think you are, or who I think you should be, or what I think you should do. Compassion isn't that. Compassion isn't projection or expectation. Compassion is acceptance. I see you, I accept you for who and how you are, and my job is to witness you and to be in divine service to you, which I actually can't do without compassion. So I want to invite you to think about ways to deepen your own connection with this entire concept and what it would look like for you in your life to bring a deeper level of compassion and softness and forgiveness and kindness, because according to the Karuna Reiki tradition, that's actually the key to healing. The real key to healing you is developing compassion in your own heart for other people. The saddest and the angriest and the sickest people in the world, and I can attest to this, are the people who can't forgive, or the people who are holding on to grudges in the past, and this happened and you did that, and I mean, for decades sometimes. And it starts to show up as disease, and it starts to show up as, and not just physical, maladies and challenges, but also emotional challenges, depression and anxiety. And so I really do believe that Karuna, or compassion, is the key to it all. And so let's go through the symbols. I'd be very curious to hear your experiences with these beautiful symbols. We're going to go one by one. And we do have some still left on sagegoddess.com. There's actually a bath salt too, just to let you know, in case you're loving the concept and you want to explore it more completely. That's why we try to do the aromatherapy side of it too. So we have the rose quartz sets of the Karuna stones. Let me just show you what they look like. This is the lapis set of the Karuna stones. This is the rose quartz set, and the set contains all of the engraved palm stones. And then the banded amethyst is coming to sagegoddess.com on November 22nd. So not that long from now. And so I know some of you are collecting all of the different sets, or choosing to give them as gifts this holiday, which again I think is fantastic. If there's a Reiki practitioner in your life who kind of wants to take their practice to the next level, they probably don't have these. They're very hard to find. And so that would be a really beautiful gift for you to choose for someone as well. Okay. Shall we get started? Okay, so this is called the Reiki of compassion, the particular type of Reiki called Karuna Reiki. Some people, like I said, say that it is stronger than Usui Reiki. I leave that to your opinion and your experience and your understanding. But it is consistent with Usui Reiki, meaning that what we're really doing is channeling life force energy with intention for healing. And so the process is the same. Some of the symbols even look the same. We'll talk about that in just a minute too. So some of these are traditional Usui Reiki symbols or a derivative of them, and then some of them are new to this particular work. So we're going to start with the first one, which is Zonar. Looks like a Z with an infinity symbol, doesn't it? And each symbol, it's really beautiful. Just gaze at it for a moment. Let your vision sort of go soft and see what it represents for you. Some people say they can see the snake. Of course, you can see the infinity. Beautiful, isn't it? So the Zonar symbol is infinity and eternity. It helps to release karma, enhance clarity, and open your heart to compassion. So this is the first in the series of the Karuna Reiki symbols. The second symbol is called Halu. And Halu looks like this. Halu means love, truth, and beauty. Working with this symbol either by laying this stone on the body, which is one beautiful way of working with these. So let me just give you kind of quick tips. The massage table that you're doing your Reiki on, or whatever flat surface, make a ring of these stones around the base of it. Or put these around your bed. I have done it. Incredible lucid dreaming. Or lay these on the body of your client or you if they're focusing on a particular energy stream, or grid with these and draw the symbols. You can actually take your finger and anoint these symbols on the skin. So you could take your Karuna essential oil blend and you could actually use your finger to anoint and draw the symbol, which is beautiful too. Okay, so again, Halu means love, truth, and beauty. And so if you're calling in those energy streams, and think about it that way, that as you work with each stone, you're calling in the energy stream of that particular field. The next symbol is Hearth. It's the main symbol of Karuna. This is Hearth. Make sure you see the circles on the sides. Hearth means love, truth, beauty, harmony, and balance. It represents infinite compassion, restores love life as it used to be, and heals all issues of the heart. Love that one. Next one is Rana. Rana means abiding joy. Rana. Abiding joy, it clears negative energy, strengthens determination, and revives chi. So this can help you bring your life force back if it's been, dampened by illness or by depression of any kind. That's the particular palm stone you would lay on or grid with or draw the symbol of to bring that back. The next one is Nosa, like Gnosos or Gnosis from ancient Greek, right? G-N-O-S-A. Beautiful symbol. Means mystical and spiritual knowledge acquired through feeling and prophecies from God. It connects us to our higher self and helps us to communicate more clearly in our daily human lives too. So this is communication and knowledge. Then we have Kriya, which is actually a double, it's the double Choku-rei symbol, which is a traditional Usui Reiki symbol. Here you have the two of them. One, of course, is clockwise, the other is counterclockwise. And so the combination of two, called Kriya, means perfect balance and action. And this is the symbol or the dual symbol of manifestation and co-creation. So it's everything. I mean, it's the main key, just as it is in traditional Reiki, but it also has all of these other layered meanings as well when we look at it in the context of Karuna. The next symbol is Iyava. Iyava balances the four elements of earth, air, fire, and water. It aids in acting in the moment from a place of truth rather than reacting to circumstances. So this is about alignment and balance, physical balance as well as energetic balance across the planes. The next symbol is Shanti, which you know means peace. This is for someone who needs to heal the past and make way for the present, releasing fear, anger, and hurt while calming the aura and experiencing bliss. This is a good one too. By the way, another way to work with these would be just carry the ones that you need. Do you know what I mean? So let's say you're trying to work on peace and bliss. Just carry that Shanti stone with you and work with it almost, right, like a worry stone. Just, rubbing over the symbol of it, calling in the energy of it, learning to draw the script of it. Dumo is the next symbol. This is Dumo. Represents the heat of the awakening of Kundalini energy, which you can sort of see how it's drawn there. Ignites fire in the root chakra, pulls out negativity and disease from the body, and releases it. This is your extraction stone. Isn't that cool? So awesome. So you're probably seeing why I'm so in love with these. The next symbol is the Tibetan fire serpent symbol, which opens that central channel of Kundalini energy. This is the Kundalini piece. It can ground energy into the lower chakras or push energy upward into the upper chakras without allowing it to release through the crown chakra, so the energy stays in your physical body. It doesn't escape. So this raises Kundalini energy but keeps it in the system. And then, last but not least, we have the Om symbol. This is the sound of the name of God. I love the Om symbol so much, don't you? Even just seeing it calms me in every way. Oneness with God, it cleanses, stabilizes, and seals the aura. All of that brings light, purification, protection, connects us with God. So, in many ways, I use these much like I use my Chumpi stones, and I've talked about that too. Like I said, to grid around my bed, to grid around the treatment table if you're a massage therapist or a Reiki practitioner, to carry one by one, to meditate with as mantra stones or as worry stones, to draw, to learn how to draw the symbols. There's almost nothing you can't grid with these, and also you could lay them on the physical body too. They align to different chakras, and so that's why it's also worth noting which ones are aligned more to the lower chakras and which to the upper chakras. So again, let me show you one more time. In the shop right now, we have the lapis lazuli set right here, and we have the rose quartz set, the banded dream amethyst set, which, holy smokes, right? What a grid for your bed that would be. Those will be in the shop on November 22nd. May the essence and the full energy of Karuna, this sacred and deep compassion that brings you closer to God, may it reveal itself to you and be present to you in all ways. That's my wish for you. Thank you for letting me bring you a little bonus session just to teach you about the magic of these symbols. I'll see you soon, everybody.